The newspapers are suggesting at the moment that Israel has hit two centrifuge factories or locations in Iran, uh, and it's confirmed by the UN's International Atomic Energy Agency. The attack marks not just a military escalation, but a symbolic rupture in the delicate containment of Iran's nuclear ambitions. It's the sixth day of the bombardment between two countries, mutual bombardment, long embroiled in shadow warfare, but this time the shadows are ablaze and the real antagonists are locked together. Overnight, more than 50 Israeli jets targeted Iranian military and nuclear-linked infrastructure, including the Tehran Research Center, where advanced centrifuge rotors, the critical spinning devices that enrich uranium, were manufactured and tested, and also the Tesat Karaj, a separate facility where multiple centrifuge components were fabricated. Here, two buildings were destroyed completely. The IAEA, which had previously monitored both sites under the now moribund nuclear deal, verified the strikes and confirmed that both centers played a direct role in Iran's enrichment capabilities. This wasn't a symbolic tap, this was a precision punch aimed at the very heart of Iran's nuclear program. Centrifuges are not just technical instruments, they are the backbone of any state's journey towards nuclear capability. They separate uranium isotopes, and if refined far enough, they can produce weapons-grade uranium. And by striking these sites, Israel is signaling two things. First, that it retains the intelligence, reach, and air superiority to strike at will. Second, that it won't wait for international diplomacy to forestall what it sees as an existential threat. And Israel's strategic doctrine, long promised on preemptive disruption, is now being played out in full view. Meanwhile, Donald Trump, back in Washington after abruptly leaving the G7 summit, added lighter fuel to an already burning fire. His rhetoric is bombastic, demanding Iran's unconditional surrender, threatening its missile program, and hinting chillingly that the US knows where Iran's supreme leader is hiding, but will not assassinate him, at least for now. That kind of language, replete with theatrical menace, and that casts the Ayatollah as a Bond villain and Trump as a messianic sheriff, may thrill a domestic audience, but it leaves diplomats scrambling for the exit. The Egyptian foreign minister and European envoys are now pleading for de-escalation, but calls for calm ring hollow when the skies over Tehran are alive with anti-aircraft fire and Fatah-1 hypersonic missiles that are, as Iranian state TV puts it, repeatedly shaking the shelters of Tel Aviv. The risk at the moment is twofold. First, the nuclear non-proliferation. The IAEA's oversight is now severely compromised. Iran's cooperation with inspectors has already waned to the point of absurdity. And with these facilities destroyed, so too is any chance of monitoring the technical capacity Iran retains. We're now heading towards an age of nuclear ambiguity. And already the Syrian skies have lit up with Iranian missiles aimed at Israel, and Lebanese actors, particularly Hezbollah, are ominously quiet. But that silence may not last. The conflagration risks drawing in multiple actors from across the region, from Iraq to Lebanon to the Gulf. And some may ask, was this legal? Was it proportioned? I'll go into that in another video. They aren't idle questions. Under international law, a preemptive strike is justified only under the imminent threat of attack, and Israel argues that a nuclear-armed Iran constitutes such a threat. Iran denies that it seeks nuclear weapons, and in fact, the Ayatollah had issued a fatwa against developing nuclear weapons. The strike's precision is in contrast to the scale of casualties. Iranian authorities report over 200 dead and more than 1,000 injured since the start of hostilities. Civilian sites, including universities linked to the Revolutionary Guard, have also been struck. And there's the ethical dimension. Diplomacy has not yet failed, but it hasn't been trampled. It has been trampled. It hasn't been tested sufficiently. Bombing centrifuges are not the same as dialogue. It's the loudest form of refusal. So where does this leave us? In Iran, nationalist sentiment will harden. In Israel, fears of annihilation will deepen, and in the corridors of the UN and European foreign ministries, the whisper of peace process now sounds like gallows humour. This was not just a military act, it was a signal, a demonstration, a provocation. Whether it achieves its aim of crippling Iran's nuclear ambition or instead accelerates it will depend on the days to come. But one thing is certain, the centrifuges are broken, the cycle of retaliation is spinning faster and faster. And in war, as in physics, destruction travels faster than understanding. Let's hope that this time diplomacy can catch up before the next spin leads to the point of no return.